Let's get spooky. This is our Station Boo, where we explore the dark and mysterious corners of the world of horror, and we know that you are dying to listen. And welcome to the Spooky and Kooky podcast of Earth Station Boo, where we talk all things horror. Introducing our haunted host, we have our lovely Lisa.
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
We have Karen.
What's up?
And I am Shannon. This episode, we are going to be talking about 3 adaptations of Stephen King's first book, Carrie. In this episode, we will be talking about the 1976 original adaptation. We will be talking about the 2002 TV movie adaptation, and we will be talking about the 2013 movie adaptation. All right. But before we dive into that, let's cover some news stuff. Hey, horrorholics. It's time for the Ghastly Report. Stay tuned for all the fun, spine-tingling news happening in horror today, from new releases to spooky events and so much more. All right, Lisa, what do we got on tap?
Okay, well, I found out that we have movies that were on, not movies, but TV shows that were on AMC, and they're now coming to Netflix August 19th.
Ooh.
We have The Discovery of Witches, seasons 1 through 3, Anne Rice's Interview with a Vampire, season 1, Anne Rice's Mayfair Witches, season 1, Dark Winds, season 1 through 2, Fear the Walking Dead, season 1 through 8, Gangs of London, season 1 through 2, and The Terror, season 1, The Walking Dead, Daryl, season 1. And that's what's coming to Netflix now.
Rock on.
Yay.
Yeah, that sounds like a good list.
Yeah, it's a pretty big list. That's all the news I have right now.
Karen, what do you got in the literary realm?
Well, all the stuff I usually post on the Facebook page, but there is one book that is coming out that I'm looking forward to, and it's Jinchu Ito's newest manga that's coming out. It's a collection of some of his short stories that he handpicked. So that comes out on the 19th, and I think it's called Alley, if I remember correctly.
Rock on, rock on. And do actually go to our Facebook group, because we've actually been posting about a bunch of different cons that are coming into the area. We also have a con update for Dragon Con and the horror track with Derek coming up here next month. So keep an ear out for all of that. So let's go ahead and get into the episode. All right, so Carrie, Stephen King's very first novel, kind of an iconic movie. What are our initial thoughts on all of that? Lisa, you want to start us off?
Sure. I remember, okay, I'm going to age myself, everybody. I remember when it came out in the movie theaters, my dad took me to it. He shouldn't have, because I think I was like 8. But I remember it. I've always liked it. There's a familiarity of it for me, and I have always been able to relate to it. So yeah, I definitely like the movie. It's good.
Karen, what are your initial thoughts on the movies?
When I first watched it, I was a kid, did not know what was going on, but I enjoyed it for the fact that, it was a horror movie. And, later on in life, I got to enjoy it for what it really was. The being alone when you don't want to be alone, because she didn't want to be alone. It's just the fact that she was raised to be the way she was. But yeah, it was a really good movie for the time it came out on.
For me, I don't remember how old I was when I saw the original. And then I saw the 2013 one when it first came out. And then the 2002, I didn't even realize that was a thing until after the 2013 one. But I think the story as itself is something that is very relatable, and especially for those of us who kind of tend to be more on the outskirts of things. people who are not the usual popular kids. I think we all kind of have like a weird like connect to Carrie, even some of the other characters. But I think overall all of them are a great kind of like introduction to horror and everything else that it encompasses.
Yeah.
For those who are just now going, wait, what? Carrie was a book? I didn't know that. Yeah, it was written by Stephen King. Basically, the same plot for all the movies is the same as the book. Carrie White, a friendless, bullied high school girl from an abusive religious household, who discovers she has telekinetic powers, feels guilty for the bullying. Sue Snell actually invites Carrie to go to prom with Tommy Ross, who happens to be her boyfriend. But a humiliating prank during the prom by the Chris Hargison leads to Carrie destroying a good portion of the town with her powers and maybe or maybe not ending her life. You know, talking about the ostracism and the revenge of it all. You know, before what was it, Revenge of the Nerds? You had Carrie.
Yeah. You had Carrie.
So let's go ahead and start talking about the OG. So the 1976 version. If I can talk. Geez Louise. What's our like overall take on that one? Like when it comes to like the writing and the performance, special effects, all that kind of fun stuff.
It's great. I mean, for the time that it was came out in, there could have been some tweaks with the writing,
Hmm.
but the special effects, was really good for that time. Especially when the hose comes up and you're like, now how are they doing that? Is that puppetry work? Are they using stuff? The blood work was really good. My whole thing with the blood, though, I'm like, y'all got this blood last night and it's not congealed or anything. It's still fresh.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I love the acting with some of the actors. They did really good job with their part. Some of it seemed kind of a little bit forced because it's like, has
Mm.
it been a while since you've been a teenager? Because I'm like, John Travolta, you're not a teenager.
Yeah, but I don't think Billy, I'm trying to remember how old he was in the books, or in the book, but I don't think he was a teenager. I think he was like, to be honest, he was that loser punk guy who was older but dated high school girls because girls his age didn't want anything to do with him because he was such a loser.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
I think he was like 19, if I remember correctly, 19 or 20.
I mean, it had to be legal enough for him to date, like, a high schooler, so probably 19 or 20.
Yeah, but back then there wasn't really the legality. Today's laws did not exist then. Lisa, what about you? What do you think?
Okay, well, I really, really love this version of Carrie. I think Sissy Spacek did a fantastic job. I commend her because, yeah, I do agree with Karen about the blood not being congealed. But the thing about that made it more realistic to me is that I found out later that she actually slept in her bloody clothes for 3 days to stay in the character. And that's like pure syrup. And so as a texture person, it's like, oh, I think I actually really did I think she did a really good performance. Her mother was, it hit some spots on me that, yeah, I was so familiar with. The actress that played her mother and all of them, because, I went to school in the 70s, like late 70s, 80s. So that their shorts and everything, that was all a thing back then. And that's how you were treated. And yeah, if you were, yeah. So I think they did a really good job of portraying that time period and how she was an outcast, but she wanted to belong, all that good thing. And Sue Snell, I actually liked the character who played her. I mean, she did a pretty good job because she was on that line where she was trying to decide, well, what should I do? Should I do the right thing or should I go along with the crowd type of thing? So,
I mean, she knew what she did was wrong. I mean, she knew it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the OG here, I think it was a great adaptation for that time period with what they were actually able to do in the making of it kind of deal. I do think there was like parts of the writing that it just didn't hit right, and I think it was hard to perform because it seemed like there were scenes where like just everybody just kind of seemed off. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
where it's like everybody kind of didn't know quite how to portray it right, I guess. Special effects wise, I think they did a fantastic job, especially for being 1976. Like the limitations that they had then that like we don't have now. Like I think they did a fantastic job. And now knowing that about Sissy Space, like, oh, ugh.
Right?
Like
You're right.
like yes, as I'm neurospacey. Texture is an issue for me. Ho ho ho.
It's okay. Me too.
Like I would totally be wanting to take a shower like minutes after.
Like, we're
But
done. We're done. Okay, come on, let's go. I'm gonna go take a shower.
but you know what? For bravo for her for making sure that continuity was there. Like good for
Yeah.
her. Good for her. But overall, I think that was actually a fantastic film. It's extremely enjoyable to watch, and it's something you can watch over and over again, and it's not a huge thing, you know? Let's give our skull ratings to the 1976 version of Carrie. I would give it a 4. I think it's a solid 4.
I mean, it's the OG. I mean, I love it. I could watch it like all day, every day. So for me, I'll give it like a 4.5.
Okay. Lisa?
Yeah. I agree with Karen. It's the OG. I was raised with it. 4.5. Definitely a lot of familiar stuff to me. It was a nice, comfortable fit. So I was very familiar with the whole time period. So 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
Rock on. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the 2002 TV movie, which was, I want to say, like an hour longer than the other two.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yep, it was.
Yeah, the first one was 98 minutes. The 2013 one was 99 minutes, and this one was 132. So the TV movie, 132 minutes of beautifulness of the book. What are you guys' thoughts?
I really enjoyed this because I know when I first heard about it when it was coming out, it was supposed to be like if the movie did really well, they were gonna do a series, like showing more character growth with all the characters, showing how her powers developed and grew. And so I really enjoyed the movie because you got to see a little bit more of Carrie practicing her powers. I love the actress that they got. I said her name earlier. It was like Bates something.
It is Angelina Bates.
Yes.
Yes.
She did a great job as Carrie for me because she was that mousy character that Carrie's supposed to be. I actually loved her, for this character. I didn't much care for the whole interrogation aspect of it, trying to figure out like what happened and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I knew what they were trying to go for, so I was like, okay, I'll let it be. But I actually like this one. I like that the fact that they pulled in a little bit more from the books, from the book, especially when she's like terrorizing the whole city. Because if I remember in the books, she does terrorize the city and let them know this is who's doing it. Damn it, y'all messed me for the last time.
Yeah.
Black woman taking off her wig
Yeah.
for the last time.
Yeah, it was like pure destruction from like the high school to her house, which were on opposite ends of the town. So she
Yeah,
did like
pure destruction. And then she comes out of it. You're like, you know, that's kind of believable because that moment right there,
mhm.
I can see it. I can see it. I feel for her. I feel for her. The ending was okay. Mm, but yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I wouldn't be like on repeat like I done the first one, but I would throw it in there every once in a while to break up the monotony of like the first one. It's like, let's go for the other version. Let's watch this. I actually really like the scene between Carrie and Sue when they're in the makeup parlor and she's trying to show her how to do makeup. I'm like, oh, that's sweet. I wish because you wish you had that one person, that one friend that would show you how to put on makeup. And Sue was doing that for her, and I actually really enjoyed that little scene right there.
Lisa, what do you think?
Okay. First of all, the actress did a really good job. She actually, compared to the book, she actually looked a lot more like the character in the description, not trying to talk about the book any, but I actually liked when she would go into like a trance. Like she couldn't really control it. She was trying to, but she couldn't.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
that was pretty good. And then when we got to, the scene where she was in the, the prom and she just lets loose that whole wave of energy that knocks everybody over or whatever it does, where you see the ring of energy when it first starts. I love that.
Yeah.
That plus the body was really cool. I mean, I thought that was really great. I was glad that they still used practical effects,
Oh yeah.
most of it. It because I think it added to it, made it more, I don't know, not textured, but whatever. I liked her prom dress better than the original, the one in the original.
But
I
she
thought,
made the one in the original though. That she made it
yeah,
herself.
she made the one in this one too. That's the one
Yeah,
thing that
I think that's the one thing that all three did was that she did make it in all three of them.
Yeah.
do. I do like the thing where in the beginning where they showed the rocks and meteors coming. Like
Mhm.
that's something in the book. And when she was a kid and she was talking to the girl and there you get where the dirty pillows comes from.
Oh yeah.
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 So I do like it, and I do like that Sue Snell helped her with the makeup, but I don't really like the ending. To be honest with you, I understand where they were going to try to make a series and they didn't, but honestly, I really don't like the ending. I like not knowing whether she's still alive or not. I like the mystery of it. But the actress that played her did a great job. The mother, I'm sorry. I did not like the way the mother was. She was not religious enough. She was just too subtle. She wasn't, she didn't have that same
Energy.
Yeah.
energy.
She didn't have that same energy.
Yeah. So she was kind of dull, actually. I think so. I mean, yeah, Carrie talked back to her, but there wasn't you couldn't see there was hesitation in Carrie. It took away from the character. So, and that's my opinion. It was all right. I liked it. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely not my like all-time favorite. I think what was nice about this one, there were specific scenes that were fantastic.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Like absolutely fantastic scenes. They were written well, they were shot well, the performance was killer, like special effects were done really, really well. But then everything between those scenes was bland and very meh. And so I think overall, it's probably one that I probably won't watch like a whole lot, but it definitely is one that I don't feel like I've wasted my time watching, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Like the mom, Margaret, she wasn't crazy enough.
Oh yeah. No, no.
She wasn't religious enough. She didn't really seem to fear her child when her child kind of came into her power.
Right.
They're just, and that's an actress who I love. I absolutely love her as an actress. I think she's a fantastic actress. So to me, that means the writing was what was
Yeah.
lacking for her. And honestly, I'm gonna say this, I hated that suit. I thought like that one moment with like the makeup, to me, part of it I think is kind of colored because of what Chris Harkison's character told Carrie before. But that actress alone, I always have a hard time finding her to be sincere. Like I feel
Mhm.
like everything she does kind of has like an attitude or there's a like a level of mockery to whatever she's doing. That's how I felt in that scene. I felt like she would, even though yes, she was trying to be nice, it still didn't seem like a genuine trying to be nice. It kind of came off as a, well, I'm doing this because I need to.
Right.
Okay. You think it might be the actress or how they wanted her to be?
I'm wondering if it's both, to be honest, because I'm also thinking of like other things I've seen her in, and I'm wondering if that's just kind of how she portrays herself a lot
Mm.
in when she's acting. Because there's just a number of times where I'm just like, are you are you being sincere? Like,
Yeah.
is your character trying to be sincere? Because if that's the case, you're not doing it. You're
Mhm.
sorry, but you need to redo that because that is not how it came across. Throughout this movie, I felt like that was the case for her, where Like from the very beginning, it was a very flippant attitude, and that's not supposed to be there. The flippant attitude is supposed to be Chris. Sue's supposed to be the one who has a little bit more empathy and actually, feels bad. And even though, yes, this character was doing all the things that Sue's supposed to do, it just didn't feel like she was doing it from the goodness of her heart. It was more like, oh man, I gotta make up for this because I messed up.
Yeah.
Not like oh, if I was Carrie, I would really feel bad. So yeah, I messed up. I need to make it right because I know what I did was wrong. Not, man, there's gonna be some consequences. So let me just go ahead and start fixing things so I don't have to deal with the consequences. This one, the way I think a lot of it was the way that they wrote it,
Hmm.
especially with like the interrogations and everything. It was very much her covering her own ass. And I don't know, it just didn't sit well with me, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah, she did have a very flippant attitude, which I didn't really much care for. But it made her more like a teenager than,
Yeah.
that you can relate to because most teenagers tend to be flippant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she did have that remorse, because she did ask her boyfriend, "Hey, Tommy, could you do this for me?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Okay." But I liked her because like this is supposed to be set in a little bit modern update
Mm-hmm.
because I like the fact that she was flippant with the officer. I like the fact that she didn't back down from Chris.
Which those interactions weren't really as much of a problem for me as her interactions more with Carrie and with like the one teacher. And like
Right.
there's like certain things where I'm like, if you really are feeling bad about what you did, you shouldn't be having that attitude towards that person, if that makes sense. The
Hmm.
cop, yeah, he kind of deserved it. He was a little bit of an asshole. And Chris, well, she's a bitch and nobody likes her. But
And she tried to get her daddy to come and sue.
Yeah.
Sue the school. I'm like, oh,
that's the one thing I loved about all the movies was the simple fact
Chris.
that like every time the dad came in, they're like, "Okay, go ahead. But if you're gonna do that, here's
Who's
this
gonna do
long
this?
list of shit your daughter did. You're you're ready to pay up for that?"
I was like, damn, he really went there, didn't he? Like, yep, he did.
Yep. Special effects wise, you can also see like they started doing some of the CGI stuff. And those who know what CGI looks like in those early years, you can point it out. But I think
Hmm.
what they did well, especially given the times. They still had some really good practical effects. So overall, like effects wise, not too bad. And I actually didn't mind like the cinematography as a whole. I think like the way that they set up scenes, they did a pretty decent job with. So, but this is one question I have, and I feel like it needs to be answered. What high school has that many tampons that you can fill an entire,
What high school has tampons pretty?
yeah.
What high school has any of that stuff?
Yeah, like what high school had things like that stuff?
I'm sitting here thinking back of like, because in 2002, I would have been a sophomore in high school. And I'm sitting here going, in my area, we went to a pretty small high school, or it was the smallest high school, but it's like in comparison to like schools that had like 2,000 graduating seniors, and my school only had like 1,000. So like even though yeah, I went to a small high school, it wasn't like a small high school. But I'm still sitting here going, if I went to every girl in my school, including teachers, and asked for a tampon, we still would not be able to fill up a locker like that.
No.
Where did they get all those tampons? Where? I'd like to know.
I'm like, did they all the females get together and just throw it all into her locker? But yeah, not in my high school. We didn't have a tampon machine. We didn't have a pad machine. We had nothing.
Exactly.
We had if anything
Exactly.
happens, we had to go to the nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, they might not even have anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my only thing where I was just like,
Where'd y'all get these tampons from?
how did you get that many? That many that you could fill this massive locker with tampons? How? How? Where did
Let's
you
talk
guys get
about
this
this for a
from?
second.
I need to know the logistics of how this happened.
And how did you do it with them all loose and not falling, keep falling out?
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
mean, think about it.
There was like no slits big
No,
enough for you to like.
to put them in, they'd be all bent up.
Exactly. These are the things that we want to know. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump. Before we move to the next one, skulls. How many skulls do we give this one?
I mean, to be a TV, movie, it was actually pretty decent. I mean, there were some scenes that they didn't really need. I think that's the reason why it was so long. I'm like, did you really need that scene? No.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually give it a 3.5 for a movie,
Okay.
TV movie.
Okay. Lisa?
Yeah, I would say 3.5 for a TV movie. There were some extra scenes in there and honestly, the Chris in this one wasn't as bitchy as the first one.
No, she wasn't.
I didn't not like her that much. She was just like, I don't know.
And I feel like every time I've seen this girl play a mean girl, I haven't liked her as the mean girl. Where I'm just like, you're not mean enough, which means that she's probably like one of those like super nice, sweet people that has a really hard time being mean to other people. I would give it a 3.5. I think there were some really cool aspects of it. I think some of the scenes were absolutely amazing, but overall, not I'm not a huge fan of. So I think I think a 3.5 is a good rating.
Like I said, especially for, TV made movie.
Yeah. Yeah, especially for that. So the last one, the 2013 version with actually a pretty good cast. Like it's got a lot of like big name people in it. What did we think about that one?
It was okay. It was okay. I mean, I was highly upset on who they casted as Carrie.
Yeah, me
I
too.
mean, for me, Carrie's like that homely little mousy girl that you could connect to because she
Mm-hmm.
looks almost like you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not pretty, I'm not cute, but there's like a certain beauty to them. And not to, disparage the actress that played her. She did an okay job, in my opinion. But I actually wanted somebody who was a little bit more homely and mousy, like, Sissy or, and Angela. I just wanted somebody like that. I enjoyed the movie, but yeah, Angela. I mean, I enjoyed the movie. I mean, it's the same thing rehashed, but like in different lenses. So
Okay. Lisa?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I love the actress who played Carrie, but she was too pretty. She was way too pretty. I don't think she came across as scared enough. Really, I don't think she played the role very well, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I like the girl who played Chris. She did a good job.
Yeah, she did.
Uh, I think she did a great job. I love Julianne Moore. If you're out there listening, Julianne, you did a freaking awesome job as the mom.
she's
I mean,
fantastic.
she did such a great job. Yeah, all the actors did a pretty decent job. Like I said, I wasn't really happy with the girl who played Carrie. She was just too pretty. She had to be plain. She just didn't pull it off as well as she could have. And not saying she's a bad actress. She's a good actress in other stuff, but this was not the role for her. Okay, when it comes to the blood, please, blood does not fall that way. I do not like CGI blood. Use real fake blood, real fake blood. That makes sense. Oh my gosh. And the whole telekinesis, they went out of it's like she was not out of it, is she was like aware, unlike the other two where they woke up from it. And I think that took away from it because I get she wanted her revenge and did all this, but it was too, she didn't, no, it wasn't, I just didn't like it. And the whole stomping of the ground and making a cut, that's not telekinesis, that's superhero power.
Smooth landing.
Like, I was not happy with any of the special effects at all, to tell you the truth. And it was just lame to me. I mean, in the end, actually, Sue Snell did a great job. The girl who played Sue Snell did a great job. But no, they could have done a better job with I mean, if we're going to use technology, let's make the blood fall the way blood would fall. And don't keep rehashing it, showing it over and over and over again, like 3 times, and do the cutscene to it, do the cutscene to it. And then it's like this big, I don't know. It just didn't feel genuine to me. But
like I said, Julianne Moore did a fantastic job. And the rest of the cast did a great job too. But yeah, I was not impressed with that. So just my opinions.
Heck, that's what we're here for. I actually did not mind Chloe as Carrie in this, especially considering she actually was a teenager when this was filmed versus the other two who were in their like mid to late 20s. I kind of agree like she wasn't as mousy, but I think at least like when I've read Carrie and like when I've watched all these things, they were like really made her the outcast, but then like when she did go to prom, everybody was surprised at how beautiful she was. Chloe did that. She had the like the mousy thing, but then when she had her glow up, it was an actual like glow up. And the other two, I just didn't feel like they glowed up. I think it was very much like a okay, they put on the correct costume for the thing, but it wasn't like a oh, she is pretty kind of like transformation, at least in my opinion. But I don't know. I kind of liked this one. I agree the CGI was not as good in this one at all. And the few practical effects that they had, I feel were a little half-assed, in my opinion. But but I do think this one was written better. I know it's kind of it's not like just a straight adaptation from the book, but it's like kind of like an adaptation slash remake of the original. But I think I don't know, I kind of enjoyed this one a little bit more than the other ones. Like it's something that like I could easily like put on in the background and just have it playing and watch it pretty consistently. Julianne Moore, she killed it as the mom. And I love the fact that they kind of wrote her almost like as like an Opus Dei practicing Catholic to a certain extent, like with the fact that like she would have to harm herself when she caused like others to sin or when she herself sinned or something like that. Like I thought that was kind of interesting to actually show that aspect of it, considering that's not something that like a lot of people kind of paid attention to. I think like one of the biggest introductions to that would have been, oh, what was that Tom Hanks movie? Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci Code, yeah.
Da Vinci Code. Sorry, my ADHD brain was like, this person, this person, this person. Here's the connections. Now, what's the name?
I
um,
mean, the mother in the first woman movie, she did hurt herself, not to the extent of,
yeah, not to the same extent. And I feel like in the first one, she did more physical punishment to her daughter than she did to
yeah.
herself. And I
Mhm.
liked how in this one it was pretty even. That like
Mhm.
not only did
Yeah.
she like harm herself, but she harmed her daughter and she mentally harmed her daughter as well, where it was, look, I'm hurting myself because of you. And
Mhm.
like that like mental fuck that she's giving. I don't know. There was a lot. I think writing wise, I think this one was probably my favorite. But yeah, I think overall this is a pretty decent one. I get it's not everybody's favorite. There's a lot of people who prefer the OG, and that's fair. Absolutely fair. I think the Sue in this one was a little bit more believable, especially compared to the 2002 version.
Yeah.
And Chris, oh yeah, she
Chris,
was
yeah.
an absolute bitch. Like this is one of those ones where you sit there and you're like, can I come in there and smack you? Because you need to get
Yeah.
smacked. Like I want to go through the screen and just like smack you. And then I think the guys all actually did a pretty decent job in this one also.
Yeah, but we all know this is not a guy movie, so who cares?
No,
I'm just kidding, just kidding,
no,
just kidding.
but the male characters still had like their roles to play. I
Yeah, they did.
think, but I think they did good. I mean, Tommy was the guy who he really showed that, yeah, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna go all out. Let's go. The guy who played Billy was actually kind of terrifying. Like I was like, oh, okay. Versus like the other two where I'm just like, you're just a little punk. Like this one, I was actually like, ooh, when he's like, I'll kill you. I'm like, I believe that one. Yeah, I believe him.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. And then of course you have Judy Greer, who was the coach, and I love her. She's another
Yeah.
actress that I think gets she does like a lot of like supporting roles, but she's killer in all of them. I think she does a fantastic job.
Sometimes you need that. You need that one little actress that actor or actress that's also good in their like supporting role. You know, you have
Hmm.
to have that. It's like I'm not good as a main character, but I'll pay the hell out of this supporting role.
But you know
Yep.
what? I think she would make a great main character.
Yes, you would.
I think she actually would. But I get that she probably has more consistent work by not being the main character. And I'm
Right.
okay with that. That's fine. It's understandable. Hey, do what you got to do to make a paycheck.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so how many stars would we all give this one?
I give it a 3.5.
3.5? Okay.
I give
Lisa?
it a three. Three skulls.
3?
Sorry, two bites.
Is it because of the CGI blood?
Well, not just
Probably.
mostly the effects in general.
Okay. I I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4. I think it excelled in the areas that the first one fell short, and I think it fell short where the originals excelled.
Hmm.
So I think it was like a good balance. And I honestly I think the writing was good enough that it can pop it up there. Yeah, there's probably some things that could have been done differently, like especially like this the effects wise. They could have done way better on that.
CGI blood.
I think it's a really well-made film and it's something that's easy to watch. So I give it a 4. I think by our ratings we kind of know like which one's whose favorite, but let's go ahead and name it out. Karen, which one's your favorite?
I mean, I have to go with the OG because that's what I grew up on. It's kind of hard to break that mold. I mean, yeah, we have like new modern stuff like the cell phone and whatnot. I like the fact that, there was very limited technology that these kids had. So
Mhm.
you can't spread the whole, rumor mills like, hey, she had her period. Blah, blah. You have to actually talk to people,
Yeah.
Even then, I don't think the whole school knew that she had her period. And if they knew, they didn't care. Unlike, with 2013, they had cell phones and putting stuff on the YouTubes.
Which didn't they do that in the
2013,
2? I didn't they do that in the 2002 also?
I don't remember the
Yeah.
YouTubes.
I thought they did that one in the 2002 because it was like a weird like old school phone that she was using.
Oh yeah, that was a weird. Oh,
Like it almost looked like a sidekick or something.
yeah, that was weird old school phones. But if I remember correctly, they didn't have social media. What I'm saying
Oh yeah,
back
yeah,
then.
yeah. Yeah, but she still posted it up on the web on a website where everybody could see it.
No, I don't remember that part.
And in 2002, Facebook was around,
Really?
and so was MySpace. Mm-hmm.
I remember MySpace. I remember when that came
MySpace, and
out.
then there was forums, and actually, I think YouTube came out in 99,
No, it's much younger than we think. Hold on, because I had to do research about this. I want to say it was in 2000 and something.
2005.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it started in December of 2005. But there were still already like platforms and stuff like it before YouTube came out. Karen, you like the OG. That one's your favorite.
Yeah. Hmm.
All righty. Lisa?
I have to say, I do like the OG the best because that's what I was, I saw it, but it also has more of a familiar timeline to me because that's about around the period where I grew up. So, yeah, and we didn't have technology. So, yeah, I definitely like the original one the best.
So for me, I would say overall, I think the OG is my favorite. The 2013 is a very close second. Very close second. It kind of will depend on like, do I want a more modern take or do I want to go ahead and stick with a slightly more old school version kind of deal. But I think the OG because it hits. It hits just right. All right, so let's actually talk about the different versions of the characters. We already kind of like dove into that just a little bit, but let's actually like break it down like each of the characters, like of the main ones, what we liked about them, what we didn't like about them, the whole nine. So we have to start with the title character, which is Carrie White.
So for me, my favorite version of Carrie White is the 2003, 2009,
2002.
2002 version of Carrie. Because when she goes into her trance, you could tell she's going into her trance. And
Mhm.
you could see her disassociate. And also she had that little, she made me feel like I wanted to be her friend. I hate to say it that way. but I wanted to protect her in any way possible. I was going to come through that TV and be Auntie Karen, to protect her and her mother. She's going to have to eat my leather. I mean, but for me, Angela was my favorite Carrie, because she always had that scared look to her, no matter what scene she's in. She always had that scared, mousy look that you just want to protect. As an older woman, you want to protect.
Okay. So she was your favorite. What would be your second favorite?
A Sissy Spacek.
Okay. And then Chloe is last.
Yep.
It's fair. It's fair. Lisa?
Yeah, I will have to agree that I actually, as much as I like Sissy Spacek, I actually like the second one because she had that twitchiness to her when she went into the trance. I mean, she had all the tics and everything, so it was actually a lot more convincing.
Okay.
And she was very expressive on certain things, and she was always cowering and afraid and everything. So yeah, she's got to be definitely my best one, and she definitely portrayed a very good job. I think she did. I think she did a little bit of a better Carrie than Sissy Spacek.
Okay. So who would be second?
Definitely would be Sissy Spacek because she did a pretty good job. I mean, she also went into the whole trance thing. And I think that's why I like those two the best, because it's like they didn't realize that what they were doing until after the fact. And then they were kind of sorry for it. Whereas I felt Chloe didn't really have any real remorse, actually, to tell you the truth.
That's fair.
Because she's like, I killed my mom, but it was like, it wasn't, I didn't feel it.
That's fair.
I didn't feel sorry for her.
Yeah, it's fair. I would say Chloe's probably my favorite Carrie. I don't know. I feel like she did a really good job. It could have been the writing was just kind of better, but I kind of liked the fact that she didn't feel bad about the people who tormented her the way that they did. And I actually kind of liked the fact that there was like like you said, like how she didn't really seem like she was upset that she killed her mom. I kind of like that because I feel like that was her healing from the trauma that her mom had caused, where she's like, yeah, I feel bad because I killed my mom, but I don't feel bad for killing her, kind of thing. And I don't know. I kind of like her as Carrie. So my second one would be the 2002 version. Angela, I think she did the second best because there was that difference between her being timid and then when she was coming into her power, and like she actually, like, you could tell that she was actually taking it in. Because to me, it's like that, it's almost like there needs to be two different personalities there, or at least not like a timid version of it. It needs to be something that's like a little fuller, like, because yeah, you could be telekinetic, but if you're still look like you're kind of afraid of what you're doing, people aren't going to be as afraid of you. And she didn't seem timid when she was going full force, and I liked that aspect of it. And then Sissy, I think she was still just a little too timid, even when she was coming into her own, even when she was trying to like have that like I'm in power thing. She still was very, very timid. And I feel like that timidness when you're trying to like burn the whole town down, it's probably not going to portray and have the same feeling of everything. I don't know. It just felt empty for me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, fair.
So, what is our take on Carrie White's mom, the Margaret White?
Okay, I want to start with this one.
Okay, go for it.
First of all, the first one, she did a fantastic job. It's familiar to me because it is similar to what my mom was like. So I totally cohesed with that version of her. The one from the 2002 version, I like the actress, but she just wasn't crazy enough. She just, I don't know, it didn't trigger me, if that makes any sense.
No,
I mean, I want to, if I'm going to be like connected with a character, I want it to at least trigger something inside of me. So I go, oh, that's familiar. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, I don't like you. No, I had no feelings whatsoever for that mother. And then there was Julianne Moore, who that was my mother 100% practically. And that I would have to say, out of all of them, Julianne Moore was my favorite out of all of Carrie White's mothers. She did a fantastic job. It hit the nail on the head. Yeah. The whole boys smell the blood. You can't go out with boys. You're a sinner, blah, blah, blah. I know that whole story.
Mhm.
So, yeah, Julianne Moore has to be my favorite one. And my second favorite had to be the one from the first movie, the original. Those were
Okay.
my two in the middle. Mhm.
Rock on. Karen, how about you?
I have to say my favorite one was Julianne Moore. I love her as an actress, and she portrayed a part of a Christian mom because I've met Christian moms. I have friends who have like that type of mother.
Me?
So yeah, I enjoyed her partake her role of that. Followed by Piper, um, which was the 1976 version. Piper Laurie, am I
Hmm.
correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I enjoyed her version of it. And then the last one, 2002.
Yeah.
Patricia
Yep.
something. I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, Patricia Clarkson.
Hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you guys on that. Julianne just knocked it out of the park. She she had the crazy aspect, she had the overzealous aspect, she had the delusional, like written down to a T. Um, and again, yeah, she is a fantastic actress. So, she just did amazingly well at it. Um, then yeah, the OG, um, the OG mom, she had that that craziness, that an overzealous mom who you know that she grew up in that same kind of household. Like that that's how she was talked to and brought up. That delusion was brought down from, her family. And then yeah, Patricia, I really think they missed the mark, and I think it was the writing, because I know that she's a fantastic actress, and I think if they had made her character a little bit more crazy, a little bit more unhinged, she was almost too well put together.
A little bit more of a zealot.
Mhm.
Yeah, she was a little bit more like cult leader's wife versus
Yeah.
the crazy zealot.
Yeah.
Um,
It didn't feel like she had any lost anything or was raised in that kind of felt like
yeah,
she just
like yeah, she kind of like some of the things she said, yes, were on the crazy delusional,
right.
side of it all, but she just wasn't there wasn't like the crazy factor. Like with like Julianne's character, she was saying things and Carrie's like, that's not even in the Bible. What are you talking about?
Right.
Like you're making that up. And Patricia's version of it was like, it's in this chapter of Ezekiel, but there was like almost like a prim proper thing to it versus the no, it's in there. Like you have to
It was
believe
like
this. You're sinning.
she wasn't a damaged woman,
Yeah.
you know.
No, she wasn't. She was not.
No.
So she
Yeah,
just
she was too put together.
yeah.
She was just too put together. So yeah, I think it's cool that we all agreed on the mom though. That we all were like, yeah, Julian was the best.
Yeah.
Uh, so the coach, how did he rate her? Who do you think was the best? Lisa, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. I would have to say I like the first one because she was being a teacher and doing her job, but she still had sympathy for Carrie and tried to be a little bit motherly to her.
Okay.
And I remember when she went into the principal and the principal kept getting her name wrong, she kept correcting the principal because it showed she cared.
Okay.
And the second favorite one of mine is the one from the 2013. But
Jody Greer.
but yeah, I like her. She did a good job too because she showed she cared. The one in the middle, she was okay. She just seemed like she was a gym rat, just there to do her job and get some money. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Karen, how about you?
I like Jody Greer. Followed by I'll get her name straight. Betty Buckley, which was she was in the 70s version.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the last one was 2003 version. Renee Chauffeur.
Yeah. I I would agree with you, Karen. Judy, I think, knocked it out of the park. So the 2013 coach, she just, like we said before, she's just a fantastic actress. She plays every role fantastic. But she had the empathetic coach. She had the teacher. She also had like I liked how she interacted with the other students and calling them out on, them doing what they did to Carrie and how she even went and was protecting Carrie when it came to Sue and Tommy, and she's like, "Hey, cut this out right now," and she had that fear, or she caused that fear in the students of like, "Nah, she'll do something. Coach will do something." And then the original coach by Betty, yeah, she kind of had that same feel of,
Yeah.
I will gut you.
no. I will cut you. Leave this kid alone. You know she's going through a hard time. Quit being an asshole. Like, yeah. And then I agree. Like the 2002 version played by Renee, and I have to put this down for writing, I would say, because there were like aspects where she kind of had that like, hey, leave her alone. But then there was a lot of times where it was like, guys, I don't have to deal with this. Like, could you not?
Yeah.
It had a very much like a I don't want to have to deal. I don't have to do the paperwork. Like, don't make me have to do the paperwork on this kind of feel to it.
Don't make me have to deal with your bullshit. Or make me do more bullshit.
Right.
Exactly. So let's move on to Sue Snell.
Okay, my favorite Snoo Snell, I don't know, it's because I love the actress, was the 1970s version of Sue.
Sue Snell. We'll just call her Sue. From here
I
on,
like
we'll
that
just
one.
call her Sue.
I love Sue. That was my favorite. Followed by the 2013, and then lastly the 2020, 2002.
I have to say, I did like the 1976 Amy Irving, but she was in a lot of horror movies and always did a good job. So I liked her
She's a bit of
a lot.
a scream queen.
Yeah, she is. And then I would definitely have to say I like the Sue Snell in the 2013 because she was very much more empathetic. Whereas the 2002 version, I agree with you, Karen. It's just, I think, and maybe you're right, Shannon, it was probably the writing. They were just so worried about developing the one character that they kind of just threw the lottery out for the rest of the characters.
Yeah, I agree with you guys on the order. OG 2013, and then last is the 2002. The OG one, you could tell that she was like, I done fucked up. I know I did. I need to make this right. And then seeing that like she's not even getting asked out to prom, and that's like a thing. Like she should do this. Like I've been to dances. Hasn't been to any. Like you could tell that she was putting herself in Carrie's shoes and was wanting to do right by Carrie. So I get it. I get it. And I think she did a fantastic job. I think they wrote that character well. And I think she did a fantastic job portraying that character.
She had like a lot of empathy.
Also, I wanted to add something to that. Out of all the Sue Snells, she was the only one that actually really tried to prevent happened to Carrie. The other ones just kind of stood there and like looked. She actually noticed it and tried to prevent it.
Yeah.
Yep.
The one in 2013 kind of sort of did, but not as much as Amy Irving did in the original. Yeah. And that's why I like her character as Sue Snell the best.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. 100% agree. The 2013, again, I'm actually going to put it down to the way that they wrote her, but she acted the right way. Like the way that she stood up to Chris, the way that she, like you could tell like, she was just fed up with it. She's like, you know what? Forget it. Like go have your little tantrum, but I'm not risking my senior year for your ego. You could just tell.
Yeah.
Right.
And she did try to stop it. And the pregnancy twist at the end was a little
off.
That was a little off, but I liked how in that moment it did gave Carrie the option to not kill somebody who had actually pick on her at some point, even though she was trying to make up for it.
But didn't that also happen in the book though? She didn't kill Sue?
Sue doesn't, yeah, and Sue doesn't die in any of them.
Because if I remember in the book, there was like some sort of telekinetic connection, and she realized, oh, you weren't a part of this. There was like no whole pregnancy, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember there being a pregnancy in the book, but I also haven't read it recently.
I'll find out tomorrow. I'll be finishing it up.
Which, by the way, y'all, we will be doing an episode on the book. We're just gonna save it till
Later.
next year to do it because we decided to do this Carrie one, and all of us go, "Oh, this is a lot."
Yeah. A lot.
If we're gonna read the book too, no,
No,
this is too much, too much all at once.
We're doing 3 movies. It's okay.
Yeah.
And especially since we're all gearing up for all sorts of cool stuff. And actually this, just so y'all are, fun fact, this episode is being recorded the week that we launch.
Yeah.
Which is super cool.
Yep.
So logistically, we have a lot we're doing. Back to Sue. Yeah, the third one, I think she did a great job. I think that's the second best Sue. And then, like I said before, when I was talking about the movie, I hated Sue in the TV 2002 version. I really hope it was just the way that she was written. Even though I'm not a huge fan of that actress, I really hope it's just the way it was written, because I just feel like there was just never any empathy for Carrie or for what was actually happening in any of that. It wasn't about, like, her character wasn't a character who saw that they messed up and said, okay, I need to change.
No.
It was definitely a character who's like, man, I got in trouble. Now I got to fix it. Like, it just, I don't know. It didn't sit right the way that, like, I know the story's supposed to be told kind of deal.
It's kind of almost like the whole elder sibling, like, damn, I messed up. Now now I'm in trouble with mom and I have to fix it. Damn.
I mean,
that older sibling.
It's the difference between being sorry for what you actually did and being sorry for getting caught.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
She was a character who was sorry that she got caught, not sorry because I did do something pretty shitty. But let's go ahead and go on to the mean girl, Miss Chris Hargensen, who I think in every iteration was a complete bitch. But which one do you think was the best?
I would have to say 2013.
Okay.
76.
Okay.
2002.
Gotcha.
Because the 2013, I was like, man, if she opens her mouth one more time, I'm gonna come through this TV and y'all ain't gonna see me again.
And that was played by Portia Doubleday.
The 76, 79 version, she was mean, but not mean enough to where you want to hate her. Actually, let me take that back. Hold on.
And that's played by Nancy Allen.
Let's move her to the end.
Okay.
Let's move 2013, 2020, 2002, and then 76. Because the reason why I switched it up like that is because she was mean, but she wasn't mean enough to where I wanted to punch her out. The other two, however, okay. I wanted to punch my TV. I was like, damn, I hate you both. Like, okay. You know, she like the 76 version, she was mean, but she wasn't that mean girl mean, you know?
Yeah.
She wasn't that mean girl we all knew and, you know, had in high school. She was mean, but she wasn't mean girl mean.
Gotcha. Lisa?
Yeah, I will have to say that Portia did a freaking awesome job, to the point of she was psychotic because the pig scene, unlike the other two, she sliced the pig's throat. And that's like, no holds barred. She didn't care. She wanted to get her revenge. She was definitely that mean girl. She did a fantastic job. I think she was the best Chris. The 2002 one was okay, but I think it was more that she was like a rich lawyer's daddy's girl. and she
Mhm.
thought she could get away with anything. And I didn't really hate her that much. I more felt sorry for her because the boyfriend that she was with was more controlling of her than I didn't really like the 2002. She didn't really make me, I felt more sorry for her because she was like a slave to her dad and a slave to her boyfriend. It's a psychological dynamic that I didn't really like her as much. Whereas the girl in the 76, the one who she played, she was a mean girl, but she also had more power over her boyfriend than the other two did, than the one in the middle did, the 2002. Like the one from 2013, she definitely had all the power. The one in 2002 was more, didn't really have as much power as she thought she did. It was more an illusion. And the bully, yeah, the Chris from the original, I think she definitely had more power and she was definitely more mean, had more of a sociopathic. I mean, she's like the bullies that I had to deal with. So,
Mm.
and she was a normal, she wasn't like rich or anything like that. She was just a normal girl that was just a mean girl, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, like, she
Um,
wasn't sociopathic. She was more psychotic and sociopathic for me, anyways.
Fair.
yeah. I so the first one, so the one in 76, played by Nancy Allen, she reminded me of all the rich, snobby, spoiled, rotten girls. So the girls who always got their way. If something went wrong, they went running to daddy and daddy fixed it. She gave that kind of mean girl energy. And when there was that like one kid who just was different, but it just, for some reason, that person's existence bothered them, they would just flip. And that was her. The 2002 one, again, spoiled rich girl that daddy fixed all of her problems, but definite daddy issues, definite like relatability to people issues. Um, and then the 2013 played, and the 2002 was played by Emily D. Raven, who's an Australian actress. But Portia, she played the spoiled girl, spoiled rich girl, but the crazy spoiled rich girl, the one who knew that she was spoiled, the one who knew she had power, and the one who knew that she could use a lot of that to go and make things her way. I think as the character Chris Hargison, I think she did the best. I think she's my favorite. I put her in the number one slot. Um, she was just deranged enough that it was like, okay, this is actually like a scary character. She really is a true mean girl. Um, then I would say the 2002 and the 76 are pretty even for me. I can't really say which one's more than the other. I think they both did really well for the film that they were in. I think if like you swapped them, they would be horrible characters. But I think for what they were in, I think they were perfect. But yeah, I put them pretty even with each other. Can't say one was better than the other. I think they were both good for what they were in. If you're talking on like a mean factor, I probably would put the 2002 above the 76 just because she was just a little bit more vicious in her meanness than the 76. I mean, there was still malice there, but it wasn't like I don't think she actually wanted to like kill Carrie. While the other two, I think would have been okay killing her, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. So that's the order I would put them in. So then we got to go ahead and jump to these teenage boys because they played their part. They played their parts. So Tommy Ross, the gentleman who decided he'd skip going to prom with his girl and take Carrie to prom, and the prom king, who do you think did the best job? I know this is like a little.
Oh, yeah, this is hard.
This one we have to think about.
Honestly, I don't think the delivery in the 76 version was as genuine as the one in the 2002. I think Tommy Ross was way more genuine in 2002
Okay.
to me than in the 76 version.
Okay.
And the 2013, he did okay. He was pretty genuine. But honestly, to tell you the truth, it just like in the 76 version, it looked like he was just going through the motions. Maybe
Mhm.
it's the way the actor was acting.
I mean, it's kind
But
of that's kind of what he does is he goes through the motions. Like he isn't supposed to
right,
be like
but
jumping at the chance to go to prom with Carrie White.
I
But
know. But then in 2002, he kind of sees Carrie, and the 2013, he actually sees Carrie in a different way.
yeah,
Just
it's not a
Carrie
pity
White.
case. It's a
Yeah, it's not any case. Like his heart change, you can see his heart change a little bit more.
yeah.
So I'd have to say 2002 and 2013 are even for me.
Okay.
Yeah, my least favorite, I hate to say it, is the 76 Tommy.
No, it's fair. Absolutely fair.
How can you say that about the last action hero? Scary.
Perhaps. I actually have met him. He's a really nice dude.
Hmm.
I actually generally like the 2002 version because you can see that he has that genuine change. Because they all grew up with each other, correct? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Um, but when he looked at her for the first time, it was kind of like, huh, she's kind of interesting. Even though I'm talking with her face to face, she's kind of interesting. That was more of a genuine, he went through the motions a little bit when he was talking to his girlfriend, but when he got up, when he plucked at that courage and started talking with her a little bit, he was like, huh, you know what? Let's do this. Because he kind of saw like a bit of a reflection in himself in her almost.
Mhm.
So he's like, yeah, because I want to get to know you. You're unusual, but I want to get to know you. 2013 had that same feel to me. And well, 76 version. Love you, man. Even though you're handsome, you're still handsome to this day. Um, he was kind of last for me. He was because he straight went through the motions. It wasn't like he didn't feel that genuine. Oh, I'm going out with you because you like my poem.
Right.
Is that it? That's you're all you're gonna offer? You're not gonna have a real conversation with her? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the 2013 is my favorite for Tommy. And I think it's because he kind of went over the top with a lot of the stuff. He did the limo. He had a big bouquet of flowers for her. And he wasn't shy to be seen with her and to like make a fun night for her. I think in all of them, there's that one scene where it's just him and Carrie in the back of a car before they go into prom, and she's like, I can't go out there yet. I need a minute. I think that moment, each of them said, that's fine. We can wait. The 2013, I think this is the way that you can like really see which one was like a good transformation of the character itself. The 2013 was like, that's fine. Let's wait. Let's just hang out. Let's party in here. Like he was cool with it. The 2002, he was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Whenever you're ready. And then the 76 one was like, oh, okay, we can wait. This is awkward. Um, so you could see like the really became like the progression of the character over the
Mhm.
years and how by 2013 he's like, yeah, let's we'll hang out. We'll have a party in here. We'll do prom in the back of a limo. Let's do that. Versus, okay, well, we came to prom, like we're supposed to go inside when you're ready. But yeah, the genuine change in each of them, I think was different. I think the Tommy in the 76 one didn't change until they entered prom. And then that's when he was like, oh, like nobody's making a big deal about this. It's
Yeah.
fine. Okay, cool. Then let's just go with this. And they all had like their own like time in their story where they changed and had that genuine interest in being with her and hanging out with her. So I would probably go 2013, 2002, and 76 last. Poor William.
The greatest American action hero.
Sorry,
Sorry. You're our least favorite Tommy.
but we love your house.
But last but not least, we gotta do the villain, and that would be our Billy Nolan, the bad boyfriend, who was originally played by John Travolta in 76. In 2002 was played by Jesse Cadote? Not sure how to pronounce his last name. Sorry if I said it wrong. And then find him. Alex Russell played him in 2013. So what are our thoughts on the bad, and yes, I am using quotations, fingers, bad
You are.
boyfriend, Billy Nolan. What order we got him in?
I'm gonna have to say 2013.
Okay.
He was a bit more vicious.
Mm-hmm.
2002, and then 76. Because for me, even though I love John Travolta, he acted more like the airheaded boyfriend a little bit.
Yeah, he acted like an idiot.
Yeah,
Yeah, agreed.
He was a total idiot.
but yeah, he was. He and it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. I was like, if you're gonna be a boyfriend of a badass chick who wants to humiliate somebody, you shouldn't be the way you are. At least the other
Exactly.
two
Yeah.
like had the gumption of, yeah, yeah, we're dudes. We're gonna do this.
Yeah, he definitely hadn't partaken in the red pill.
And I think it's really that's how he was written though.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely how the character was written.
Definitely.
So you got 2013, 2002, 76.
Mhm.
Okay. Lisa?
I would have to agree with Karen.
Mhm.
They were mean enough, but they were smart enough to remind their girlfriends that it was a criminal offense, but they wanted to do it anyway. Whereas 76, he was just like, oh, you're going to do this for me in the car, as we
I mean,
know.
he did a couple times say, "Hey, like,
Yeah.
don't throw me under the
But
bus because I'm not going to jail."
yeah. But
But yeah, not to the
I
same
don't
level
know.
as the other ones.
His girlfriend, it's not like he didn't seem very mean. He wasn't.
Yeah.
So, but I definitely think that the 2013 was the most vicious out of all of them. He didn't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah. No, I agree with both of you on the order for Billy. Alex Russell did a fantastic job playing Billy Nolan. And like I said earlier, when he said, "I will kill you," I believed him.
Oh yeah,
Like I 100% believe that that's what he would have done. And then I think the 2002 is actually a pretty good marrying of the other ones. He was still kind of on the vicious, crazy side, but he still had that like idiot kind of thing to him. Like,
Yeah.
and then John Travolta, bless his heart.
Mr. Carter, Mr. Carter.
Every time I watch him in the movie, I'm like, is he gonna break out into dancing?
Right?
What's gonna happen?
Right? But no, it was just one of these deals where you're just like, that's why the girls your age won't date you, because
Yeah,
you're stupid and they feel bad for you. But this high school girl doesn't realize how stupid you are, so she's going out with you.
because you're pretty.
God, because you're pretty.
And she can manipulate you through sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I gotta agree with you guys on the order. Yeah, and honestly, I think the 2013 was like the perfect pairing of Chris and Billy. They were both
Yeah.
crazy enough and like genuine enough in order to actually do something, you know? Like, when she was trying to step on the gas to run over Carrie, like I believed it, you know? So yeah. Now that we've kind of like compared all the characters,
Except for,
which
Tina, but I don't much care for Tina.
Yeah.
yeah, and Tina just didn't have as much of an impact in the movies like she did in the book. I think she had a bigger impact in the book. It was one of those like she was just like the lackey kind of thing.
Yeah.
But which movie do you think had the better overall performance, like acting wise?
I mean, acting wise, the 2013 acting wise. I mean, it wasn't made for movie. I mean, made for TV. So you're
Mm-mm.
gonna put more effort into it. It was well written, you know. But I would say acting wise, 2013.
Okay. Lisa, what about you?
Well, I'm a little split. Like for the bad guys, Chris and Billy, 2013. Harry, absolutely not. As far as, I mean, it's hard. I'm split because there's so many good actors and everything, but
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't like Carrie in 2013.
That's fair.
But all the other two Carries, the best one was the one in 2002. So if they put her with the people in 2013, it'd be better. And stop using CGI blood.
Yeah, stop using CGI blood.
Use real fake blood. Use real fake blood.
Yeah.
I mean, like overall acting wise as a whole thing, 2013.
Mm,
But as my favorite, 76.
Okay.
Favorite Carrie though, 2002.
Yeah. It's a
Okay.
mixed bag.
Yeah, it is a
So,
whole mixed bag, man.
so for overall performance for acting, so like the entire cast as an ensemble, who would you say, or which movie would you say is the overall best?
Overall ensemble?
For Lisa, yeah.
Ah, God, that's so hard. I mean, I'm being indecisive. I'll have to say 76. I
Okay.
mean, as far as like the feeling for me and everything,
Yeah. I mean,
'cause I just can't.
if
I
you
like all
can't
the
get
other
behind the
actors.
title character, then
I,
that
yeah,
can make and break it. Totally get that. I would say I think overall performance acting wise for like an ensemble, I do think is the 2013. And I think it's because there's so many big names in it. Like half the cast has gone on to have their own movie where they're the lead character. So I just think overall performance wise it's probably the best. But with that being the case, especially since Lisa, you're just like, I really don't like the 2013 Carrie.
yeah.
How would we say with writing? Which one do you think was the better adaptation? Or is that again kind of like a mixed bag?
That's a mixed bag because there's elements of the book in all of them, actually, to tell you the truth. As far as writing, I'd have to definitely say I did like the 2013 as far as writing is concerned. Just some of the characters. I mean, the Margaret was fantastic. I just, yeah, I'm going to have to be the odd man out here and just say it's a mix of all of them. But
And that's okay.
I mean, there's elements in every movie that I would say was good writing, and there's elements of every movie. I would say is bad writing.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm gonna have to just go across the board and say I really can't make that much of a decision. There's stuff
That's
I love
fair.
about everyone and stuff I don't like.
No,
Okay,
that's
box office wise, because even though Carrie 2002 was a made movie, I'm gonna put that aside. That's gonna have to be in its own
Yeah,
category because it's like made for TV.
mhm.
But box office wise, the writing, Carrie 13 had better writing than Carrie 76.
Okay.
I mean, looking at it that way. But if you're trying to throw
Yeah.
in made
yeah,
for TV, I'm kind of like that's kind of hard. But just
Yeah.
separate it and just do the movies. Do the box office movies.
Yeah, it's writing wise, I do think the 2013 overall is better. I think the way that it was written out, the story was a little bit more cohesive and played
yes,
out better. And that's not saying the 76 one wasn't fantastic. Like I think it absolutely was. I just think the 2013 just hit it up just a slight notch more. And then the TV movie, I like a lot of the aspects that they got from the book that the other two didn't have the time
right,
Mhm.
to add in. And that's, I mean, that's part of the whole book adaptation deal. Like a feature film is usually 90 minutes ish. When you go farther than that, people can't sit for that long, and so they don't really want to go to a theater to see it.
But nowadays we do.
Nowadays we do, yeah. And you have people who post in like, "Hey, this is where there's like a little bit of a lull in the plot. It's like not an important scene, so you can go to the bathroom during this scene." You know, and people can go during the that lull or whatever. But I think this might be a hot take, I guess, or just maybe a thought process that a lot of people haven't put out there. But I think when you're taking a book and you're turning it into a movie, especially if the book does have detail, and I feel like a lot of horror novels do have a lot of detail in them.
Yes.
yeah, they do.
It needs to be done as a show or a mini series or something along that line because there's too much information that is kind of crucial for the cohesiveness of the full novel to get the plot, to get the vibes that you're supposed to be getting through it and the whole overarching story. So I think when you take a book and you compress it into a movie, you lose a lot of the storytelling. And so with the 2002, there was elements that you're like, okay, well, that makes a little bit more sense
Hmm.
on like a character's story arc than what you would see in the other two films because they don't have the time to go into that and to create those story arcs the way that they need to. And so I would say like 2013 overall is better, but they all, like you said, Lisa, they all have points that make them best. But now we're gonna go kind of go into your realm of expertise. Which one had the better special effects?
Ooh. Use real fake blood. Okay. I would have to say the 76 because for the budget, they did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Oh,
And just so y'all know, the budget for that film was $1.8 million, while
Thank God.
while the 2013 had a budget of 30 mil.
yeah. There's no excuse for that CGI blood to look that bad for 30 mil. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. No, I'm not. Okay. I think that the blood in the 2002 TV, it was good, very good. I just, yeah, do not get me. I will be on a soapbox forever about the 2013 blood scene. It didn't, it looked like mud on her when she was finally splattered. There was no chunks. There should have been some coagulation, like in the 76 and the 2002. There was a little coagulation. You saw a few chunks from that pig, so it was like, ugh. But yeah, the special effects were the best in the two earlier ones. I would 100% say.
Okay.
Yeah, blood doesn't
Use
fall.
real fake blood.
That needs to be, I think that's going to become a sticker for us. Use real fake blood.
Real fake. That sounds good. I'll put it on a shirt. Use real fake blood.
Karen, what about you? Which one do you think was better?
It has to be 76 and 2002. Those were the best, practical CGs you could get. I mean, for 30 million, your blood shouldn't be CG.
Exactly.
Facts. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think the 76 had the best. Yeah, I think the 76 had the best overarching special effects overall kind of deal. So before we get into our final thoughts, I do want to pose this kind of question. This is a story focusing on quite a few female characters and starting from the very beginnings with getting her period for the first time and all of that. And since we are an all-female uterus owning, or at one point uterus owning group of ladies, I think we can all kind of chit chat on a lot of this tale that is pretty intimate. How do we feel about how these films showed the women in all of these different things? Like getting their period for the first time, picking on somebody who just got their period for the first time and didn't realize what it was. Being that person who's been there for somebody who's going through their period for a first time and actually being supportive of them and all of that. How do we feel about how these movies portrayed all of that? I know we went super, super deep after going, what's your favorite?
I mean, as a female who had to explain to another female how babies were made, I kind of didn't like the fact that all these girls were ganging up on Carrie, because everyone goes through puberty at different times, and because it's written through a male scope, I understand they want to think it's like that, but in a way, it's not like that, because I went to school with some girls who did not know what a period was, who did not know how babies were made, and I had to explain to them, this is what it is. This is how you get your period and whatnot, because they had family who did not want them to take sexual education and stuff like that. And most of the females I went with, are actually really understanding. I mean, we did have the mean girls, but we never had anything like plug it up, plug it up, plug it up.
Yeah.
It was kind of disheartening almost, to have it written in a male scope. I'd rather, have it written in a female scope to see what the difference would be.
Yeah.
Because like I said, as a female, I would not ever embarrass another woman like that.
No. Same.
Me neither. From my perspective, my mom was Carrie's mom. Not as extreme at some points. Some points she was, and she still is. Love you, Mom. Hopefully you're not listening to this. Probably not. But the thing is she never told me about it, but I was smart enough and I had my grandmother to talk to. So I kind of, when it happened, I was not like freaking out, but I did have a friend that freaked out and I helped her out because there was this little girl that went to school that she was just, I mean, I was alienated, but I'm an artist. So I guess I don't know how to explain it, but it was just like, yeah, I would never do that to any other girls. And I've never seen any girls. It was not like that. And it was very disheartening to me too to see mean girls do that. But I wouldn't doubt that it happened nowadays if there was someone who didn't have that education. Yeah. So
Yeah, that scene alone is extremely disheartening as a female
disheartening.
viewer, as somebody who
Yeah.
and I'm going to say this, as somebody who has a uterus and who has
Yes.
had a period, it is extremely disheartening to see that. And
Oh, yeah.
it's something that is a very unique experience. I was very fortunate that my mom was like, "No, we're gonna talk about what's happening. Your body is changing. We're talking about it. We're gonna figure it out." And she even gave me a book that had like, "Hey, here's all the things that are happening." And she's like, "Read through this. Then let's have a discussion. What questions do you have?" Because she wanted me to also have like the actual like medical information. So it wasn't like she's like, "So when this happens," and like using like that kind of terminology. It was very much like so your uterus is going to shed its lining. And, it was very medical, the book that I got, but it was written in terms that a fourth grader would understand.
Mhm.
And so then she also talked about her own personal experience. And she's like, "If you're going to be like me, just know that you're going to be in pain and it's not going to be comfy." And she explained what her life is like having periods and doing all that stuff. So coming into it, I knew a lot because I had the conversations. But when the girls that you're in school with have not had that conversation, and when you're one of the first ones to have it, it's almost as jarring as what Carrie was going through, being somebody who didn't know anything about it and everybody already did.
Right.
I remember even in middle school, sixth grade, I got picked on relentlessly because of my period. And it was one of these deals like, this is something we're all going to be going through. Why are you guys being mean? Why are you making a big deal about it? It's like, as soon as somebody knew I was on my period, they're like, "Oh man, she smells." Or, "Oh man, like, can't believe she has to carry all those pads around." I am bleeding profusely. Like, come on. I think it's better if I had the pads.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and a lot of it was because there was a lack of education. And I don't want to say a lack of normalization, but the lack of talking about it in a normal way and having it be a common known thing of, "Hey, women have periods. It happens."
Yeah.
And so like I felt for Carrie because if it was kind of reversed for me, but I still understood the ridicule that she had and the torment that she went through. And that's never fun to be on that side of it. But then when you see people who are doing it because they're ignorant, it's just you feel sorry for them. And so you have to feel sorry for those bullies because they are so ignorant and they lack so much sustenance in life that that's what they have to drop down to.
And it made me like really mad because there's like no other females, in that school that would stand up for Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, there has to be more females in these group of girls.
Right.
Right?
Come on, because
Mm-hmm.
there is always that one group of females that will like either protect you or pick on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because there's always a clique somewhere for somebody.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's the reason why, I was kind of like, this is not a really true high school story because in every school there's always that one clique that even the lowest of the low has friends in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm also wondering if because she was homeschooled and this kind of like I feel like all of them kind of infer like this is kind of her first real year in school.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that is why she didn't have that clique to kind of be
Yeah.
a part of.
Yeah. She knew how to
She
socialize.
yeah, she was so isolated prior to going there. But which one do you think was actually a little bit more realistic in how all of that went down?
I would have to say 2013
Okay.
because yeah, they would YouTube it and everything now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from the perspective of right now, yeah, 2013. But
And
if we take that, aspect out and be like, well,
yeah, 76.
for me, it'll be like 2002. That was like more of a realistic aspect for me because of how Sue was trying to do good, was trying to give her tips. And then you have that other girl, Chris, who was putting doubt in her head, and all that. Because that's how most interactions are. If you think about it, you
Yeah.
have the one group, one side putting doubts in your head, and one side is like, you know what? I want to be your friend.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, 2002 was a little bit more realistic.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I would probably say the 2013. I think in the scenes themselves, I think um there was a lot of forcedness in the other two, while the 2013 kind of seemed more genuine and like just the sequence of events kind of flowed a little bit better, in my opinion. But overall, how do you guys feel about these films and how they represented the female experience of high school and periods and bullies and the whole nine, and trying to like pick a prom dress, like the whole female experience as a whole that is represented in these films? How do we feel about it, especially considering that it's all been written by men?
True, true.
Got Stephen King, and then all of the screen adaptations were written by men.
I mean, it sort of kind of felt like a high school experience,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah,
also at the same time, it wasn't my high school experience. It was like their high
Yeah.
school experience through their eyes.
yeah,
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I would agree with Karen.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Like, obviously, like I said, with my experience, like there are aspects of it that I think are like kind of like almost like a stereotypical true situation. And I think like it doesn't really have to be anything specifically related to like a female having this experience in school or whatever. But I do think that overall it's missing something. And honestly, I can't even tell you what it is, but it just doesn't feel quite like a true female experience. It's like it's a female experience through somebody else's eyes.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know how much of it is like, there always was that one girl who'd be like, "Here, do you need a pad? I've got one if you need it." Or, just maybe even the way the coach would talk to her, or like
Yeah,
the picking out of a dress and like the makeup, like all that stuff. I feel like there would
I
have
mean,
been I think there would have been somebody who would come in and kind of like helped in a lot of those situations that wasn't like an actual character
yeah.
if it was like in real life.
In real life, you'll have somebody's like, "Hey, you need help with your makeup? Cool.
Mhm.
So what are you looking for?
Yeah.
yeah,
Because you always have that little aspect of what you're doing outside of your home and your school. Because you always have that, little thing. Which, in the first Carrie, they didn't really only places they focused on was the house and the school. So
right.
you really
Yeah.
can't have that whole interaction with Carrie going out to pick up, what you
I mean,
needed to
she,
pick up.
I mean, she went to like the convenience store or the grocery store or whatever you want to call it, pharmacy, and got like did her makeup like really quick. But there wasn't like an actual like interaction there.
Right.
And I feel like in real life, there would have been an interaction.
Yeah.
There would have
Right.
been some other woman who would have come up and like interacted in that moment, and not just a, "Hey, you doing all right over there? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Cool," kind of
Agreed.
thing.
I mean, like the boys will had their friends like, "Do you want this tux, man? I never rented a tux. I don't think I look good in ruffles." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, really? Come
Yeah.
on. We get at
Yeah.
least something for Carrie here.
Yeah. Like just even like a woman who was walking by going, "That's a really lovely color on you. I like that lipstick on you." Like
Yeah.
that happens.
Yeah,
But
it
it was
does.
never really shown in
Mm-mm.
these films. Um, I think that's what it is that I
We don't
think,
have another human interaction. We just have the characters interacting, and that's it.
well, the thing is I think in the real world, women actually interact more than what the world perceives.
Right.
Like, I can't tell you how many times, like, I'll walk into a bathroom. I'm just walking in, and there'll be a conversation. They'll be like, "Hey, how you doing? Good. Hope you're having a good day. You too." And
Oh, I
it's a
like that
whole
dress.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we compliment each other quite often,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know? And I just feel like it lacked that. Guys, if you're going to write something from a female point of view, talk to somebody who's a female. Get their point of view. So when you're writing, it's a little bit more realistic. All right. I think it's time for us to go ahead and wrap this up. So, what are our final thoughts on Carrie versus Carrie?
I mean, in the end of the day, if I was talking about movies, like box office movie, for me, it will always be my OG favorite, first,
Mm-hmm.
and then followed by the 2013, and then followed by the, TV movie. But overall aspect of it, still OG in the order they came out in, really. It's like 76, 2002, and then 2013. That'll be my overall rating.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Any other final thoughts you want to share?
And
More
if they
real
should
fake.
do another remake of Carrie, it should
Please
be a
don't. There's
series.
enough.
Should
They're
be a
talking
series.
about it. They are
Like,
talking about it already.
there should be a TV series so you can get more aspects out of the book. Bring in
You know,
more of the book.
you know what they should do? They should do it like how Mike Flanagan's been doing stuff, which actually he should be the one doing it, considering Stephen King likes him.
Yeah.
But he should be the one who does it, and it should be each season is a different book of his.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a full season for Carrie, a full season for all the
They're
different things.
they're already talking about remaking Carrie.
Stop remaking stuff, make some original, or
Good luck.
popularize some of the original indie stuff that's coming out that's actually good. Ugh. Okay, stepping off my
But like
soapbox.
that's
Sorry.
that's my final thought. Like if you're gonna, do a remake of it, make it into a series. Don't make a full movie. Just make it into a series so we get more aspects of the book.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, agree.
Lisa, any final thoughts for you?
Besides, I'll always be in love with the OG for sure. I do like the actress better from the 2002 TV, and just use your more real fake blood, please. Stop with the CGI stuff. More real fake blood. But anyway, yeah. Altogether, I really combined all together. They're all great movies. Actually, it's just that's how I feel.
Yeah, rock on. I think all of them have their own special things that make them great. I think the story as a whole is something that is something that everybody can connect to at some point in some time. Everybody's had those feelings of being ostracized. Everybody has those feelings of wanting revenge. And I think it's a story, especially for us women, where we can really connect to wanting that camaraderie and have being picked on and have gone through all of this stuff and going from being a kid to being a woman. And even with its faults, I think they're enjoyable films. Um, Definitely love the OG. I really do love the OG one, despite the fact that I've been kind of hyping up the 2013 one this episode. But I think anybody who is kind of like new to horror and or is kind of more like used to like modern films, I think the 2013 is going to be the one that I would tell them to go watch first. But definitely telling them to hit up the 76 version right after because it's so good. It's the OG for a reason. So, but yeah, listeners, would you have taken Carrie to prom? Would you have been her Tommy? And which Carrie is your favorite? Let us know. We'd love to talk about it. Hit us up on all of our social media so we can continue this conversation. We've got our Facebook group that's so much fun. I actually love being in there. We get some cool conversations that happen every once in a while. But you can also hit us up on our Instagram, our TikTok, X, Threads at some point before the end of the year. We should also have a Discord, so keep an eye out for that. We will announce when that comes out. But you can also subscribe and rate us and like and share on all the different things for the podcast, such as Apple, Google, Spotify, and YouTube. But ladies, where can they find you? Lisa?
They can find me on Facebook, Threads, Instagram.
Okay. And Karen?
You can find me on Instagram, Facebooks, Threads, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit. Yeah.
Which we also have a Reddit. So let us know what you guys want us to put in there as options for subthreads. I just made that one. Fun fact. And then you can find me, Shannon, on all the different things at Spilled Tea Wine Media Mind. But before we go, we want to thank you guys. We really do appreciate you guys listening and liking and sharing and doing all the fun stuff. Without you, it would just be us three chit-chatting with each other, which I don't mind, but I like the fact that you guys are listening too. So thank you very much. We really do appreciate your support. So stay spooky, our lovely ghouls. Toodles.
Bye.
Bye.
And this has been the Spooky and Kooky Podcast of Earth Station Boo.